What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Fight With Him podcast. Today's guest is Mr. Cody Novini. He is the founder of SoCal Airflow Pros. It's a HVAC, heating and air company. Thank you so much for coming on, man, and appreciate your time. And tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how you got to where you're at now.
Manny Ben, thanks for having me, guys.
Cool,
appreciate it. Happy to be here. Happy to just hang out, talk. Get to know each other a little bit better and share our story. I got into heating and air conditioning. HVAC is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Mm-hmm. Not everybody knows that. But right after I got out of the Marine Corps, so joined the Marine Corps in 2005, got out in 2010. I spent a little bit of time being a bodyguard up in Hollywood. That was pretty fun. Armored vehicles and guns and vests and movie stars. It was fun.
I want to do that now.
Yeah. But it was just fun. It wasn't something that I would turn into a career as a family guy. But got into heating and air conditioning. Another Marine actually recommended me in, and we worked together for a while and worked at a really big company 4 years, and then went off on my own after things didn't really go the way I had hoped. And just changes in the company that I didn't necessarily understand at the time, and then use those changes to really help my company grow and take care of people. And just had a bunch of fun. So I had my company about 7.5 years. I just sold it just this past November, and now I'm part of a much bigger group, running bigger things, having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy how our chapters change, but here we are. That's
what's rad, though, of having the ability to like take something from nothing and grow it to that. Like I don't care what people tell you. That's if that is not your goal as a business owner, is to like build something and sell it, then you're lying to yourself, right? Like the novelty of like thinking you just want something to have forever. I mean, there are people like that, but as like a business owner, your goal should be able to build something up where someone wants it, right? Like that's a measurable like metric that people can be like, oh yeah, I have something to look forward to. But before we like get too deep into it, I want to touch off of the military stuff, the Marine Corps stuff, like right away, because we've asked this to people that we've had on that had like military backgrounds. But your time in the Marine Corps, what would you or not attribute like to where you're at now, in correlation to like what you gained from the Marines, if anything?
Oof, that would take a long time to go through. There's so much. Like actually one of the biggest things, and this guy's still a friend of mine on Facebook, so I'm sure he'll hear me talk bad about him right now. But when I first got to my squadron, I'm a year in, gone through training, gone through everything. I'm pretty motivated. I got my Marine Corps motivational tattoo, my moto tat on my back. Says death before dishonor, right? I get to my squadron, and there's only 4 of us in the squadron, and the higher middle of the road ranking individual is just he's kind of just a negative. He was a cancer. He was just done. He was ready to get out. Long hair, didn't care. The Marine Corps screwed me because of this. But really, just he's the Blue Falcon. He's the onboard terrorist. Just a negative person.
Yeah.
And so he had me thinking like, man, how am I going to get out of the Marine Corps? This is going to suck. I just got in. I'm like trying to think about how I'm going to get out without a dishonorable discharge. And I'm just like, one day I looked at myself in the mirror and I looked at my tattoo and I said, death before dishonor. Like, what was I thinking? What am I doing right now? What did I learn in boot camp? What did I learn in combat school? And now here, what am I doing? And it just completely shifted my mindset of like, I committed to something, do it. Go freaking hustle. Go be the best you can do, like best you can be. Put out, help the Marine Corps, change things, make improvements, and get as much out of it at the same time. But it was just like, you're not there for a paycheck.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
But that was my training cycle. Was the Marine Corps trained me so much. So I got to go completely change my mindset. There was nothing I could do to really increase my pay. So that wasn't my motivation, but I can change who I am. I can improve the knowledge I have, gain as much training as possible, and just go through so much. So that's what my biggest push was.
So you gained almost like there are a couple of things is what I'm going to take away from that, but you gained a mindset that for those have gone through it and understand it, like you gained something mentally that I don't think I don't think very many people would ever understand it unless they've gone through it, right? Unless they went and put their feet on those yellow footprints, or they've gone and endured all the crap. Like, the mental strength and mental fortitude that going through what we went through gives you is something that, like I say all the time, is one of the main reasons why I am where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter how hard things get, or crappy they get, or good they get, or whatever, whatever, like, amazing doors God's open or God's closed, that mental component that I have is something that I don't think can genuinely be just like, here, read a book and you're gonna get it, right? You have to be able to have, like, that ability to understand it fully, and that's kind of like the biggest takeaway I'm getting from you from your Marine Corps service time.
Yeah, I'll find myself kind of beat up from time to time. I'm very strong mentally, but in those rare times that I do find myself beat up, I just had to fire somebody, or one of my favorite people just quit. Somebody I've poured my heart and soul into for years, they're quitting on me and leaving, or whatever the situation is, combined with the stress of a client freaking out over something silly, or somebody trying to sue me for the first time that I've really truly tried to help. All the stuff that will combine and just beat me down sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Not very often, but sometimes I'll just be like, I'll hit not rock bottom, but mental rock bottom, shall I say. And I'll stare myself in the mirror. I'll feel weak, and sorry for myself for like 20 minutes, look myself in the mirror, and kind of do the same thing I did when I looked at my tattoo in the Marine Corps. Slap myself around. What are you doing? Pick yourself up. It's all mental. Look at this with growth. Look at this and I can handle this. And once you stop feeling sorry for yourself, like, literally I do it very quick. I just push. And I don't even think about, I don't allow myself to, like, be sorry for myself. Or, oh, but this is tough. None of that. I just completely stop allowing it. I have one path. That's the path I take.
Yeah.
I don't even see the whole path. I know that the next step is up. I take the one step.
Do you attribute that to something that was modeled for you, or something that you learned in the Marine Corps?
I don't know. I think just a process of life and time going on. I mean, in the Marine Corps, that's what I learned there.
Yeah.
And I completely changed my mental thought process at that point in the Marine Corps. Here I am a year and, maybe 4 or 5 months in, I made that complete change. I had already had a meritorious promotion come out of school.
Wait, what is that? What is it?
Like a promotion at a faster pace than your peers.
Okay.
Like, you do something honorable to get promoted, or there might be a board where the top 6 Marines out of your squadron might go up to compete against each other to get this promotion. Okay. So at that moment I changed, and the rest of my 5-year time in the Marine Corps was just, I was always hardcore, just going as high as I could, getting as many promotions or as many qualifications under my belt that I could. There's these things called an MCI, Marine Corps Institute, these little books. Read the book, take the test at the end. Now you know this, how to make a claymore or whatever. Okay. And so I just would crush through those things. I could sit there and watch TV. I could go drink with the guys. But when I was at work, I would just do as much as I possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't go and drink with the guys very often, and I didn't, just sit and watch TV. I just accomplished things. And the rest of my time in the Marine Corps was very good. Came out with a lot of great things for me. So good leadership opportunities to fail and learn from them, and just, go in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's awesome, because I think a lot of people don't take that. They don't take those learning, those failures as opportunities to learn or to grow. They let it beat them down, and they use it as an excuse to go do something stupid. And so that's why I was asking you, like, if that was something that was modeled for you, because a lot of people don't have that example. We talked about, I was watching a documentary on Richard Sherman, who played for the Seahawks and the 49ers, and he's from Compton, ended up getting a scholarship to go play at Stanford University, went to the pros, and he's someone that said no to his surroundings. It'd be very easy to cave in and use all that as an excuse or a crutch and say, hey, look, I'm gonna go join the gang, I'm gonna go drink, I'm gonna go steal, I'm gonna go do all the things that everyone else is doing, because it hasn't been modeled for me on how to get out of this situation, how to change my mentality, has not been modeled for me. Like I was watching a video and Steve Harvey we were talking about reels. So it was a real Steve Harvey reel, and he was saying that a flea has I believe a 36-inch vertical, and they from the ground they can shoot up 36 inches. That's flea. Crazy. And he says, well, if you put that flea in a mayonnaise jar, and you put a cap on it, it's going to jump at that 36 inches, but it's going to hit his head. So he's going to stop jumping and live up to its potential because of that ceiling that's been put on him. And when then he has kids, those kids are only going to see dad jump up, 10 inches. And so that's all they're going to think that they're capable of because it hasn't been modeled for them. And that's why I was asking you if that mentality or that thought process was modeled for you or if it's something that you learned, because I'm sure that you took that into business, or into the workforce. Like I tell my son all the time, he's a teenager right now. And I always tell him, I said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so if you're going to dick around at practice, when you graduate and you go into the real world, there's going to be moments where you're going to dick around in real life. You're not going to take it serious, because you're going to feel you get away with so much. A lot of people, I'm sure it's the same thing in hockey. There's guys that are super talented, that are just naturally gifted, that maybe don't work as hard as the other person. And I say hockey because he likes hockey a lot. I
Same.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, dude. You are outnumbered.
Podcast on your own. But anyways, no, I have an appreciation for hockey players. But, there's guys in all athletics that are just super naturally talented that don't work as hard as the other person and get away with a ton. That catches up to you eventually, And so I talk on how you took that mentality into the workforce from the Marine Corps. And you said the discipline, and you have that. Talk about how you were able to transition that into the workforce.
To go to the model thing real quick, I didn't have somebody that was that modeled that situation. I wasn't a believer at the time until a year and a half ago. And I think the only thing happening, the only model I had was the Lord just hitting it into my head at that time to completely change my mindset over. That's the only model I can think of what helped me there.
Is it weird being a believer later in life just with all your buddies? Yeah.
Looking back on all those times?
Yeah.
When you saved my butt?
No, your buddies, not only that, but your buddies, I had buddies, I remember, because I was a believer later too, and I had a buddy that I would drink with all the time, literally 10 o'clock, let's go get a drink. And he's like, man, let's go get a drink. He came back home, and I was like, no, I don't do that anymore. He's like, man, you changed. Something different. I was like, yeah, something is different about me. It's because of this, and so anyways, go ahead.
You can't look down on those because you've outgrown them.
Yeah.
You can just love and support on them, but you're going to lose friends. We've lost a lot of friends.
Sure.
Not just in going into faith. I don't think I've lost many because of that, but just our success we've had in our life. We've had a lot of people judge us, jealousy issues, and people they treat you different. You're just this bad person.
They want what you have, but they're not willing to do what you've done.
Yeah. It sucks, but that's
perception.
That's just
they
part
don't
of
know
it.
how hard you're working.
Don't.
We've talked about it in the past, and he's like, people see a line out the door at Hidden House, and they're like, oh, he must have it so good. And Ben's always like, I sell a $4 cup of coffee. How many cups of coffee I got to sell to be this, not that he's not, I don't want to get into his personal life, but, it's perception. People have this wrong perception, and they don't see him going in I've kissed his ass before, so I'll do it again. But going in on the weekends, if I was the owner of Hidden House, I'd be like, hell no, you guys do it.
I'm covering a shift next Sunday.
But you know what I mean? He's literally skipping church to go do that. That is an example that people can see and be like, okay, yeah, that's what I need to go do. I need to go do those things because you're gonna get out what you put into it. You know what I mean? There's no and we talk about it all the time, how we don't want people to be like, oh yeah, I worked really hard and that was my secret. Yes, that's the secret sauce. That's the secret formula. Work your ass off. Work really hard. That is But it's how you do it and how you're led to those things that set you apart. You know, like he's worked really hard, but he still has to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to change. You've worked really hard. You've had a ton of success. You still got to go to work every day and go do the things that you don't want to do. You know, I did. Yesterday was one of my longest days I've had in a long time, and it's because I shifted. You know, I was talking to my wife and I was like, you have to just shift. And I've heard him say it in previous episodes where he's like, you the moment you decide, you choose something. Say, I'm tired of this. I want this. The moment that happens, it's a switch. And like I was like, I'm gonna work out every day. Like no matter what, I don't care if it's walking outside, running, doing something. I've been going to the gym. This is my 3rd or 4th day in a row. I've been getting up earlier. I've been going to work. Like I had stuff I had to do for him yesterday. Then I came home. I still had to do stuff on my own. I had to coach a kid. I had to put out estimates. I'm like no one cares. No one cares about your feelings. Oh man, you're so tired. It's okay. Like no one's there to baby me, you know. And so I'm like, man, the moment and I went to bed grateful. And it's true. Like the moment you decide and you choose to want to go do something else, because I saw how it was affecting all my other relationships. I was like, no, I don't want this. How I'm living right now is not how I want to live. Like I want more. And so I have to do more. I have to put in more work. I got to go do the things that other people aren't willing to do, you know, that are tired, that are saying, no, it's time for bed. You know, I got to sleep early. I got to wake up.
That's where the discipline comes in.
Yeah. It's insane. So anyways, how were you able to take that discipline into the workforce? See, my concussions aren't that bad.
The Marine Corps was, they pound so many things into your head with discipline, but the reality is you see what discipline actually gives you. So if I just walk, you know, in your own house, right? You get up, you throw your laundry on the floor, you throw trash to the side, you don't clean up after yourself, your toothpaste has toothpaste, your toothbrush has toothpaste left in it after, right? Then later, at some point, you have to pick up your laundry. You have to pick up the trash. You have to clean your toothbrush out before you brush your teeth again. Like, those are wasted steps. So the Marine Corps teaches you, hey, cut all this waste out of your life. Throw your laundry in the hamper. Rinse your toothbrush. Throw trash in a trash can. And it's so simple. It's such easy stuff. But it's like, no, not nobody, but so many people don't want to do it.
Yeah. They don't, yeah.
And they don't, well, I'll get to it. Like, you don't, first off, they're motivated. And if they get motivated, that just depletes too quick. The discipline is what will get them there. So now I take all these disciplines and I put them into business. And I start working and I realize, hey, if I take calls like this and I talk to the clients about these things, then that makes it so that I have that much less work to do for the technicians at the client's house. I now, because we give them a heads up to our clients, now we don't have as many reschedules. Well, a reschedule is a waste. So now I'm cutting out waste. So just at all times, I'm just trying to cut waste out of every single thing that I do, my management does, my teams do in the home, everything. And that's all I'm fixated on, cutting out waste. And so it's almost like I'm like addicted to it.
Yeah.
And it's like exciting, but at the same time, if I see 2 people or 3 people handling one situation that's a one-person task, I like want to lose my mind. I control myself, okay? The Lord's given me patience and peace. But still, I'm like, I'm not okay with that. And I handle it in that business situation, and then I take them all and we go and tell jokes for 20 minutes and waste more time. But it's fun, and we're bonding and having a good time. So it's like, you got to have, balance the dichotomy of play and work, but still, like, if it's work time, I want them to know this is the way to work. Not in a micromanagement way. Like, I'll go ask them, hey, what do you guys think is more efficient? We got a lot of things going on. What should we prioritize right now? I'll get their feedback so they can basically tell themselves what I want to tell them to do.
Yeah, they're answering their own question.
And then next time I don't have to do it because they already know. Like James Mattis, General Mattis is know your commander's intent. So in this situation, I'm their commander. They know my intent. They know what I want. They know how I function, so that when I decentralize command, like Jocko says, and I step out of the picture, they just handle the stuff on their own. I don't even have to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
And now I'm overlooking. There's this big mentor of mine, Ken Goodrich. I've talked to him forever. I said, okay, what do I do next? He said, hey, go get on this board of directors. So I worked and then got nominated and selected on a board of directors. And I text him 6 months later, okay, what do I do now? He said, read my book. So I do all these things, and I'm working and I read his book and I text him, what do I do now? Okay, go do this and go do this. And then eventually I text him, I said, okay, I've delegated everything. I have nothing to do. What do I do now? And he texts me, he's like, now go back and comb through everything. Make things more efficient. Look at your KPIs, look at the metrics of the business, see where you've got issues, and start just working on them. Make them more efficient. Teach the team. Go through all this stuff. And so it's, the discipline just gets you to just always focused on being more efficient. I don't want to waste anything. Mm-hmm. I'll waste time smoking and joking, having fun. Not literally smoking, just Marine Corps stuff, right? But like, when it's working time, we work.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of playtime because we work so well and we work so efficient. And so it's been a lot of fun. That's my best takeaway.
That's nice.
That's a good takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great takeaway. I like always asking, I like to ask veterans in general, but like obviously when we get Marines on, like I'm just instantly a little more engaged, like not in the sense of like, I mean, we're the best, so it's hard to, it's hard, I'm just kidding. But it's more so just, somebody said, I think it was Alex. He owns a jiu-jitsu gym, and he was a former Marine, and then they just opened up a coffee shop down the street, which we should maybe go to right after this if we have time. But he was sitting in this chair that I'm sitting in, and he basically, would basically sum up what he took away, which is a form of what you took away, but to him it's a little different, right? Which is the same form that I took away, but to me it's a little different. So each one of us are taking all these positives and the negatives from the Marine Corps, the leadership that we were underneath, the leaders that we became eventually, and we're taking all of these things and we're applying it to our business life, but it goes a step further, right? It goes into your personal life. It goes into your relationships. It goes into like the man that you want to be. And that's all directed towards one thing. It's the discipline that we have learned and earned throughout our time there. And it doesn't matter what job. You had a totally different job and experience in the Marine Corps than I did. And Alex and I, similar jobs, similar experiences, similar deployments, but we both still had different experiences. And so I think, the cool thing about, for me selfishly, is like when you meet another Marine that is doing well in life and in business, it's something that's so refreshing to me. And I don't think I ever fully understood this, especially like when I was younger. And even though when you got out, you're like, yeah, whatever, I was a Marine, cool. Like, yeah, I went on combat deployments, cool. But now that I'm getting older and wiser and more mature, like to be able to see someone like, I just met you, 30 minutes ago, and I'm like so pumped for you. Like, I don't even know you. You said you built a business and you sold it. I was like so stoked to hear that. And again, because you are a Marine, like it hits me in a different way, because there's so many of us that are, for lack of better terms, and I want to be disrespectful, but so many of us that are just trash and lost, and whatever the reason, it just is so disheartening to see a lot of these vets end up lost. And so when you find one that's like doing well, not just in business or money, I don't care about money. Like I care about like success as a human. Like that's something that I'm discovering now, like hits me in a different way. And Alex and I talk about that all the time. Like, I met Alex basically through the coffee shop. We've only known each other, not even a year yet. And like, we're pretty tight. Like he's become very quickly like one of my good friends. And, we just talk about it all the time, how it's so cool to just see what the Marine Corps did for us, because we each have friends that probably aren't nearly where we're at in life. Oh, yeah. Right? Not business-wise, not money-wise, but as a human. And it's so disheartening, and I keep saying that, but, I want people to really understand that. Like, it's a real thing. The PTSD and all that other crap that people want to throw out and dismiss. Like, if you don't understand it, and you haven't been through it and you haven't had people in your life go through it, it's like something that is so crazy.
A lot of people are very ignorant to it, and I have been too, in just different senses. I think we feel this bond because the Marine Corps is a tight brotherhood, sisterhood, that you'll meet a Marine, he'll be 70 something, and you're just like, oh, you're a Marine too, oh cool, and you're best buds instantly.
Yeah.
And so to see them do well, it makes you feel really good, but to see them hurt and struggle, it's tough, it's frustrating. You want to help out, you want to lead. There's so many people that you can't help, and but like I think one thing that's really cool is like the social media presence. A lot of people see how well my wife and I are doing as a marriage, and so other ones that are struggling in their marriage, or they'll ask us things. Hey, what'd you do in this situation? And we're high school sweethearts.
That's
so
cool.
we've been married all through the Marine Corps and everything.
That's
so
super cool.
it's fantastic, and the Lord's put us through so much, and like we have what we would consider the absolute best relationship on the planet. Like the amount of love we have for each other is just overpouring at what we can even hold in our hearts. And then we go through different phases and different things, and we find out that there's even more love and an even better relationship we can have. So I'm just sitting here like so overwhelmed by how amazing our marriage is, but there's still so much more to go, which excites me. But I know like a lot of people are looking at us. A lot of people look at me and my business and how much she's supported me. And my wife has her own boutique, and how well she's doing with it. That I feel that's one way we help, is just leading by example, being good people, helping, and people seeing us. If we were to fail and like get destroyed and lose our house or something, a lot of smaller entrepreneurs and people like trying might be depleted of, oh man, they couldn't do it. Okay, I'm just going to work for somebody. Never mind. And I would never want to, like, I do it for that purpose of helping many people. That's what keeps me pushed. Like the book Peak Performance talks about that. You can go further if you're doing it for other people than if you're doing it for yourself. So if I'm doing this for money and just myself, like, I don't know if I would have just fallen off, but the Marine Corps taught me don't do things for money, among many other things. But like,
you didn't work there for money, man?
Even when I got out and I started doing heating and air conditioning and doing much better, I was like, hey babe, we can make this much money if I alter how hard I work and spend more time working. Oh, okay, cool, let's go for it. But it was never, I'm doing this for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's doing it to help people, but also leading by example to help as many people as social media will allow. People can share and share and share. Because we just want to, help people. It gives you that warm fuzzy. Like, is there a better paycheck than the warm fuzzy feeling of helping people? Like, that's just the best feeling. And I know there's like Wolf of Wall Street people that are like, nah, money, screw everyone else, treat people like dirt, you know, take advantage. But it's just not how I function. Those people just need Jesus.
Yeah.
Or slap in the face.
Maybe both.
Yeah. Oh man, you good? Anything else?
Yeah, well, we like to ask this question, and it's a hard question because you kind of alluded to it in several different things that you do, but to touch on, like, if there is somebody that listens to this and that maybe they're in a similar position as you, like they were working for a company that's a specific trade and they're thinking about going out on their own, or they've thought about it for a long time, they just haven't made that leap. Like, we always just like to ask different business owners and entrepreneurs, like, just to give a couple, like, quick steps on if you're thinking about it, like, maybe try this, or just trying to add some type of a value to somebody that might be thinking about something. And for everyone, it's different, right? Like, your quick little elevator pitch of trying to help somebody could be significantly different than mine, but the goal is, like, that we as a podcast are able to try to at least, like, literally, we say it all the time, if we can get like one person to get something from this to better themselves, like, for us it's worth it.
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously we all had to take time out of our day to do this, and for us it's like, literally, if one person gets something from every single episode, like, that's one more person that didn't. And that's kind of like the same approach to what you were just saying, and that how you kind of do your business and stuff like that. But so the question is just give some kind of, like I said, an elevator pitch on, like, I don't know. It's hard. A suggestion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Thank you. I need to stop talking.
my biggest thing, and I kind of want to go tell this to high school kids, because what a horrible thing we put in these kids' head, that you have to go figure out what you're going to do the rest of your life right now at age 18, 17. The biggest thing is you are going to live so many chapters, crazy different chapters. I'm 36. I have been a high school student, trying to become an engineer, changed my mind, went and joined the Marine Corps, thought about being a police officer, went into bodyguarding, went over, did heating and air conditioning as a worker, never thought I'd be able to run my own business, never wanted to compete, just work, switched to professional blackjack gambler for a little while, which was a lot of fun. I'll have to tell you another time.
That's wild.
Switched over to, hey, I run my own heating and air conditioning company out of my garage. It's fun. It's a hobby. And I play blackjack. And that's how I survive. To, okay, we should change this and turn this into a business. Let's just make it small and fun. To, okay, let's blow it up and get huge. To, let's sell the business and go join another one. What are my next chapters going to be? Like, I'm going to have another 20 chapters before I'm 45, you know? Mm-hmm. Just don't go think you're going to do something the rest of your life unless you want to go be a doctor, I guess. You know, if you want to go be a lawyer, it might be short-lived because those guys hate their lives. Yeah. But, you know, just you don't have to plan out your whole life at this stage that you're in. You can completely change your life at age 50, whatever, you know, and most of us, we're in America, and especially in California, this is a land of opportunity. There's so many things, so many resources, so much to just get help, get mentors, get somebody to be your role model and go completely change your life. So don't give up, don't settle, push, go hard.
I like that.
I love it. And where can people find you if they want to get
Social
in touch
media.
with you, social, websites, all that
Everything
good stuff?
I am is under my name, Cody Novini. So Instagram or Facebook. The emails kind of change around here and there. I'm on LinkedIn. And just hit me up.
All right. Awesome. Cody, thank you so much. Another great episode, sir.
It's the first one in a long time.
Yeah, and with a guest.
With
for
a
sure.
guest.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
We'll go.
I'll take it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And again, remember that everything was impossible until someone did it.